What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, Randy with RTS Mobile Gaming, bringing you another awesome video today. We are playing the Sea of Conquest Pirate War, and in today's video, we're talking about the patch changes to the gear and which gear sets are now best post-patch. Okay, get excited. We're going to cover all the gear changes, and we'll talk about my opinion at the end for which sets are going to be best, okay? We're also going to touch really quick on the video sponsor, Packsify, later in the video. Get excited for that. And finally, like and subscribe if you like the content. So, here we go. Now, this patch literally came out just about 6-7 hours ago. Very recent, so we're covering this video as fast as possible as soon as I woke up to try and get this content out the door so you can take a look at it. Okay, a lot of gear sets have changed, okay, and we're actually going to cover this with an Excel sheet in just a minute because you know how much I love Excel. If you've tuned into my multiple multi-hour streams where we're doing Excel, this is going to be a shorter version of that, okay? Most of the gear has been changed, okay? Some of the gear is still the same. Now, about 2 months ago, they did buff the Blade of Freedom and the Sovereign of the Seas set, okay? Previously, their base bonuses were 10% and 12% for both impact and attack, and armor and HP respectively. 2 months ago, they buffed these two sets, and they became the dominating set in gear choices. I've been using Blade of Freedom on 3 out of my 4 minions. I've been using Sovereign of the Seas on my flagship forever, okay? So this is certainly going to change things up, all right? Now, the sets that got changed today, let's go ahead and pull up the spreadsheet in just a minute. But also on a side note, if you do need to level up your gear, okay, and you have ship parts that you want to level up, you want to enhance, you have a set that you decide in this video is really great, and you don't have enough Starlight Shards to do it, guess what? You can get Starlight Shards at the Value Pack shop, okay? Check it out. They have a pack here. You can also get Starlight Shards from exploring in-game cartography objectives, okay? Map objectives and incidents and exploring ports. But if you don't have enough from that, you can get it from the Value Packs. If you're going to go ahead and get these from the Value Packs, please use my video sponsor, Packsify, or at least check them out. They're going to save you about 35% on your pack purchases, okay? They've been around for 3 years, $4 million saved in player discounts. They got a great Discord community. They have an app, which is launching in the next couple weeks here. It's in beta right now. It's really exciting. Check the link in my Discord. The Cutthroat set, the Requiescence of the Black. This set received incredible bonuses. Now, you may not know exactly what you're looking at when I first opened this. So the base stats are the same. They did not change the base stats on the gear, as far as I can tell. But what they did change is this set bonus. Now, this set bonus is incredible, okay? First off, this set bonus gives you 10% cutthroat damage as base damage, okay? Then it gives you another 8% cutthroat damage, which stacks up 5 times. That is a 40% stacking cutthroat damage bonus, okay? Now, the only caveat here is it is a 3-second duration on the stacks, and it takes 5 stacks to get to that max damage. So if you have 40% stacks and 10% base, that is a 50% damage bonus to cutthroat when you have your max stacks. The challenge is cutthroat heroes don't do a lot of cutthroat damage instances other than their ultimates, so you may end up having your stacks drop off after only getting 3 or 4 stacks, and you may see that your first ultimate does not experience that huge damage bonus because it's only getting a benefit from maybe 1 stack, okay? But that is an example of how these gear bonuses are structured that we'll be looking at today. I'm going to go ahead and open up a spreadsheet where I have the old bonuses compared to the new bonuses, okay? And it's going to be exciting and fantastic instead of me going through and reading this gray text that you can barely see on video. Let's open the Excel. There it is. The Excel is open. So, Requiescence of the Black. This is a cutthroat type damage, okay? Like I said, the total damage bonus is going to be about 50%. It's going to need 5 stacks to get there. The previous version of this set only gave 8% bonus cutthroat damage on the base, and then it gave a 3% stacking buff that stacked up to 15% with 5 stacks. So you went from having 23% total damage bonus to a total of 50% damage bonus. That is an increase for this set in the patch of 27%. Okay, next you have the artillery set. This is very, very similar in a lot of ways because this also needs stacks. However, this gets stacks when your ship takes damage, so you should be at full stacks after a few seconds into the fight, maybe 5-10 seconds into the fight, you should be at full stacks. Now, the new version of the artillery set gives you a 10% base artillery stacking, okay, and it gives you a 15% stacking damage reduction, and it gives you a 25% stacking artillery damage. I think I misread that. It's a 10% base with a 25% stack, 15% reduction, okay? And in total, that will give you a 35% artillery damage bonus at full stacks. Compared to Cutthroat at 50, it sounds like it's less. However, like I said, these stacks should be maintained the entire fight, 5 to 10 seconds in, no problem. Whereas Cutthroat, you may experience fluctuating between 1 to 3 stacks. It's going to be very difficult to get to 5 stacks unless you have some good procs going on or something like that. I really don't see a world where you'd get to 5 stacks and maintain that on the Cutthroat ship. So that's a challenge, right? But artillery should be at 35% damage with a 15% mitigation for the whole fight. Now, the previous version of this bonus, okay, was 8% base with a total of 10% stacking and 10% reduction. So this is a total increase of 17% damage. It's phenomenal. Next, we have the Strategic Banquet of the Reaper set, okay? This thing is also fantastic. This got mega buffs, and I love it. Previously, you got an 8% base with an 8% single stack, okay? Single stack for 5 seconds after dealing strategic damage. Now, it's a 10% base with a 20% stack. That gives you a total of 14% damage increase. This will be very easy to maintain because even if you have the purple Fearless Princess ship, that is going to help you keep your stacks up for pretty much the whole fight. Okay, somewhere around 5 to 10 seconds in, you got your stacks on, your single stack, it's never going to fall off. All right. Blazing. Blazing got a minor buff. This is kind of a sad day for Blazing and Drowning. My previous favorite build in the game, Blazing, received next to no bonus. They went from an 8% base Blazing damage to a 10% base Blazing damage. Really no other changes to the set. Drowning got the same treatment. I don't know why the devs hate Blazing and Drowning. I don't know why they gave Cutthroat a 27% increase and Blazing and Drowning a 2% increase. I'll never know the answer to these things. But unfortunately, it makes the Blazing and Burning sets that much less attractive for larger players looking to focus on damage. Okay? It is still attractive for medium-sized ships if you're going to go ahead and have a few of those in your gang just to debuff the enemies. You're going to debuff the enemies' damage dealt and increase their damage received. But it's not going to give you a meaningful increase in damage output compared to the previous sets. And I actually have a typo. This is supposed to be 8%. So 8 to 10. Very sad. Blade of Freedom received no change. It still has 15% impact, 18% attack. Sovereign of the Seas received no change. It still has 15% armor, 18% HP. And Shelter O Yomata received no change. It still is a 10% HP base with a 35% damage reduction for 5 seconds after taking 5% of your HP and damage. Okay? Now, we have talked about which sets are massively increased. Now let's talk about my opinion on the sets. Okay, first off, the Cutthroat buff is crazy. It is going to really drive me to think about a way to get the max Cutthroat stacks and stay there. I don't know how to do it yet. I haven't figured it out. I haven't really theory crafted it yet. But just the sheer potential of having a 50% damage bonus to a set to a ship that already has the potential to do insane single target damage is really, really attractive, and it's really interesting. Next, artillery. Artillery. This set change is a really big deal because artillery is already a strong build even in just seasons 1 and 2. If you happen to have Ophelia, Sharky, and Key Landing, you can pump out a couple million damage in a fight, no problem. And I have actually found, after some testing, by switching some gems around, I can get my artillery set almost as high as my blazing set in damage output. And that is in big part due to this dramatic increase in damage, okay? So it really makes me want to use the artillery set on Ophelia's artillery ship. So I highly recommend switching to the artillery set. The Cutthroat set is really interesting. While it gives you that 50% damage bonus, it's really concerning. It's really concerning me that I'm not going to be able to get to the level of attack bonus and overall damage output that you still are getting from Blade of Freedom. Blade of Freedom still is really, really strong for Cutthroat because it has impact, which lets you bypass armor, and it has straight attack. Now, we already know the 18% attack translates down to about 12.6% damage, okay? So, as soon as you have one single stack of Cutthroat on your Cutthroat set, you are probably bordering on passing the Blade of Freedom's damage bonus. Once you get 2 stacks, you're definitely going to get more benefit from from the Cutthroat Requiescence of the black set versus Blade of Freedom, okay? But the problem is, can you be at 2 stacks or more stacks when your main damage ultimates come out? Or is your Bones ultimate going to be the thing that gives you a stack? Is it going to basically hit for lower damage than with Blade of Freedom and give you another stack for the rest of your heroes to use? That's the question we need to figure out. So it's going to really, really be important on the Cutthroat ship that you're able to generate an incredible amount of rage and trigger your cooldowns rapidly and somehow find a way to stagger them so you maintain your stacks, because otherwise it's going to be impossible. I don't know how I could get 5 stacks today. I don't know how I'd get to this 50% damage bonus. Therefore, if you're using Blade of Freedom on your Cutthroat ship, you're probably not going to see a huge damage jump switching to Requiescence of the Black until we can figure out a way to get more than an average of 2 or 3 stacks. If you can get up to 3 stacks and hold 3 stacks for a while and get some ultimates off with the 3 stacks, you know, the Cutthroat ship set is definitely better. But for right now, in Seasons 1 and 2, I don't see a way to get that many Cutthroat stacks. Therefore, I'm going to stick with Blade of Freedom, okay? The Strategic set, this is incredible as well. This strategic set already was doing slightly less overall damage output than with Blade of Freedom. Now with this massive 14% bonus, it is going to be the set that I use on my strategic ship. I have already switched to the strategic set on my strategic ship, okay, and that's really incredible. Blazing and Burning, I'm still going to use Blade of Freedom unless I'm trying to debuff somebody. And in general, no real change for the flagship tank set, Sovereign of the Sea, or Shelter of Yamata. It's really still up to your preference, okay? So that is the spreadsheet portion of this video. I'll show you really quick what I'm using on my ships because you might be curious, and then we'll go from there. So like I said, I'm using Sovereign of the Sea set on my flagship. I am using Blade of Freedom set on my Warhammer still. I am using the strategic set on my Fearless Princess. This set, like I said, is really, really dirty. It gives you so much damage bonus now. It's such a big increase from before. I have to recommend it. Stormbringer is still using Blade of Freedom set, okay? And the Crimson Sentinel is using the Artillery set, which also, like I said, this massive damage bonus. It also dramatically reduces the damage I take. It adds another 5%. It was already giving a 10% damage take reduction. Now it's a 15%. That's a big deal by itself, okay? Dramatic damage reduction, damage taken reduction there, all right? And there is probably a world where you put an artillery set on your flagship and run artillery on the flagship, but that is something I have not theory crafted in Seasons 1 and 2 since I messed around in the beginning of Season 1 with that, so please put an asterisk there. I'll be testing all kinds of things, but just that static 15% reduced damage taken is so interesting, okay? So that is the video, folks. If you've enjoyed this gear changes summary and which sets are best for what builds, please like and subscribe. Again, check out the Packsify link in my description below. Randy, out.